mention when it's beneficial. Oh, you can't keep it solid, I ain't fucking with you. Fuck a fake friend, show is over, close the curtain. Told you that they loved you, laughed at you when you was hurting. One thing about that UPK, this brotherhood for certain. Dress you up in all black, gird you up to put that work in. Same niggas that was on the block putting that work in. Abandon that lifestyle, cause now I know my purpose. Coming from a place where a black man life is worthless. 400 plus years, yeah, living out them curses. I blame the so-called leaders in the churches. Was supposed to save our soul, instead they led us to the hearses. Backstabbed and betrayed by the people you would die for. Your family ain't family, so-called friends switch sides on you. Crack and take a knee on your neck, whisper and die, boy. So I stay strapped with the Kaepernick, that's the firearm. Gotta watch your back, you know them demons out here lurking. If I don't know shit, then I know one thing for certain, look. They hate it when you up, but love it when you down. Love you when you there, but hate you while you living. Only make a mention when it's beneficial. You can't keep it solid, I ain't fucking with you. They hate you when you up, but love it when you down. Love you when you there, but hate you while you living. Only make a mention when it's beneficial. You can't keep it solid, I ain't fucking with you. I say fuck the fake love and disloyal behavior. Brotherhood is a weapon, but bitch niggas is contagious. Hating your elevation instead of hitting the pavement. Watching your every move and never give motivation. Situational friendships get way with adversity. And these days, just a little bit of your kindness a luxury. I'd rather you keep your distance, be a fuck nigga too close to me. Prefer to fuck with fear nigga than house nigga with notes on to get a shirt off my back. For devoted niggas with loyalty, I noticed the lack of devoted niggas that's trustworthy if you ain't in no black. Ranked up, I'd give two fucks for free. Death before dishonor is a must, it ain't no choice from me, I'm bred different. Was never one to die, just bullshit, I'm fed different. Fuck all the information out of pulpits, I'm led different. Been taught to follow a code, Israel law, statutes, commandments, freely given, never sold, nigga. Chill. They hate it when you up, but love it when you down. Love you when you there, but hate you while you living. Only make a mention when it's beneficial. You can't keep it solid, I ain't fucking with you.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees? If so, you need StreamYard on air. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce the launch of StreamYard.
Straight out of hell.
2022, we still dying in the ghetto. We still dying in the reservation. We still dying in the burial.
Coming straight out of hell.
Christianity has failed us. Voting has failed us. Begging and pleading for a life has failed us. Loving everybody has failed us.
Straight out of hell.
Over 1,000 years later, we still begging and pleading to the oppressor to let our people go.
Coming straight out of hell.
The white man is the devil, and if he ain't, then who is, man? Never trusting our enemy. It's time to wake up, black man.
Straight out of hell.
Oppressor make a wise man mad. I walk the straight gate, never with the way. What that means, I'm UPK. If you don't keep the laws without work, that ain't faith. Christianity gon' have your body stinking in the cake. Hold up, straight out of hell. Schools to jail, cell, voting, protest, and fail. Yo, so iron cannon hell must prevail. Survivor get ate like an animal in the wild. White man is the devil, gotta train up a child. That's right. White lives don't matter to God, that's white lies. And that ain't Christ with blue eyes either, that's white lies. Prepare slaughter, death to all heathens, women and child. Kwam Yasha Allah is real on the rise. 2022, we still dying in the ghetto. We still dying in the reservation. We still dying in the burial.
Coming straight out of hell.
Christianity has failed us. Voting has failed us. Begging and pleading for a life has failed us. Loving everybody has failed us.
Straight out of hell.
Over 1,000 years later, we still begging and pleading to the oppressor to let our people go.
Coming straight out of hell.
The white man is the devil, and if he ain't, then who is, man? Never trust in our enemy. It's time to wake up, black man.
Straight out of live from the ghettos, burials, and reservations. We the Lord's chosen people, my nigga, that's revelation. Take ground with observation, feed the nation. Look, come, operation, bring back segregation, separation, perfect hatred. I hate the white man so much, I keep commandments. Fighting for the kingdom, so I make amendments. Watch the way I'm living, be ye perfect as the Father in heaven. We ain't Christian, a mission in Christianity, the works addiction. Submission to white supremacists, warriors turn feminine. Emasculine our sister, this ain't living, my nigga. Babylon falling, and we gon' keep ballin'. Babylon fall, we continue to ball, and we gon' keep ballin'. These boys off, we don't fuck with y'all. Babylon falling in the streets, dying just to eat. Shot down by police, still hung on tree, protesting no peace. Lord set us free from the penitentiary. We don't pray on our knees, officer, we can't breathe. Still stuck on weed, our identity, we don't know who we be. This is what it sounds like when we ride on our enemy. Jacob pedigree, bury me a fucking priest. Can't turn a blind eye, how we gon' survive? UPK gotta lead. Can't build a nation when you love another nation. 2022, motherfuckers still racist. When you follow Christ, living right, you gon' be the most hated. White man is the devil, too many accusations. Babylon falling, book of Revelation. Follow commandments, wonder why you stranded. Babylon falling, and we gon' keep ballin'. Babylon fall, we continue to ball, and we gon' keep ballin'. These boys off, we don't fuck with y'all. Babylon falling, where I'm living, God get it, on a mission, breaking down scripture with my niggas, one west and we keep on winning, little winners ain't no more sinning, UPK come rise with me, all my young ride with me, follow all the kettle kind with me, UPK, that's life, got the blood of an Israelite, brother live, that's hard to find, home of the truth, no lie, no more weed, no more white, one west what I'm living like, Lord knows I wasn't living right, putting work for the most high, are you ready for the warfare, one road we can go there, ain't no cowards in here, I can make it disappear, fuck America, the end is near, go to church if you scared, Holy Father we fear, 400 years my people in tears, ain't no motherfucking justice here, tell me why you wanna lose your head, white man is a plague, you a devil drop dead, you can lose your leg, paint the whole city red, everything UPK, one west UPK, warfare every day, motherfucker it's UPK, Babylon falling, and we gon' keep ballin'. Babylon fall, we continue to ball, and we gon' keep ballin'. Break these boys off, we don't fuck with y'all. Babylon falling.
$22.99, dirty cop. He gonna hook it up. Come on, Nakawar, hook me up. Go ahead, I'm going.
Fuck around with you, boy.
John Diamond make the billion logo.
Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, cricket cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, cricket cop badge number 2299. It's wicked as hell. Arresting a man for nothing, got him sitting in jail. Look down on us, call us niggas when they niggas themselves. Supposed to show them the way, instead they show them a cell. Fuck nigga, how the fuck is you a man in the Lord? You pull up with white boys seen you put niggas in the back of the car, but you wouldn't last a day in their yard with all them killers, them lions and them tigers and them bears and them gorillas. Tried to convince a nigga to snitch on his own brother. Beware the purple Israelite group, they undercover, so pussy ass nigga. Regretting that bitch, tell him take off that badge and I'll bat him in his shit. Cricket officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware cricket cop badge number 2299. Cricket officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware cricket cop badge number 2299. False doctrine, a nigga that shot that tranny. The dick pic, the fake pictures on social media, you posing as bitches. The murder on Joe Morgan, how her body came up missing. That scheming nigga cannot stealing that brother bitch. The marching for the rich, but don't do nothing for the poor. The shit them niggas tried on the Kansas City boat. Them purple niggas tried that same bullshit before. Cap told them bitch Obama holding treatment like a hoe. Michelle told them they lightweight, they packed up all they shit. Fuck wrong with you, boy, we meant a war around this bitch. Undercover ass, purple badge, and Easter ass bitch. We know cowards on the men prepared to die around this bitch. You heard? Cricket officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware cricket cop badge number 2299. Cricket officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware cricket cop badge number 2299.
You broke off and created something.
Yeah, on 44 shit, you know what I mean? Busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and their head with that shit.
Fine, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived, they don't know how I did it. Got it out the mud, straight to glory, they don't know how I get it. Nice, but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, up to solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried, I got right for real. I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga, watch yourself. They said you been in beast mode lately, you is not self. When you dropping that fire, precious marriage, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, them firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin on kindness. I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers, say they want some smoke, dawg. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running, bitch, don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till them do us part. If you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Bless your heart, fine in. I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel. He nice, but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. Oh, I got a man, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. I heard they want my life, I ain't worried, I got right for real. Take over in effect, yeah, I'm fully focused. You might not see it on me, just know it's women, that bitch fully loaded. Ooh, yeah, we up and rolling. Told them I need major motion. Think I'm joking, I'ma school them niggas like they baby Jody. Got it out the dust, now I'm too clean, don't know why they hate me. What you want out life, dawg? Guns and butter, baby boy. You PK top, dawg. Certified road runner. I'ma turn that E-Line into a damn tank. I got choppers stashed in the attic like they Air Frank. They had that shit on lock till I snapped on them like bolt cutters. You cannot play both sides, gotta choose your colors. See I'm throwing that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Fine in. I ain't show no mercy, I'm gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the dust, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel. He nice, but he don't show the skills, how I show the skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a man, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. Said they want my life, I ain't worried, I got right for real.
Ha ha, One West, bitch. You know what it is. 1969, home of the truth. And if you ain't UPK, you in the motherfucking way. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Harlem, New York, 125th Street. How you mention UPK and didn't mention me? We the home of the truth, bitch, nigga, what you mean? How you mention One West and didn't mention me? No excuses, no cowards, only soldiers roll with me. How you mention UPK and didn't mention me? 144,000 are prepared to serve the king. How you mention One West and didn't mention me? Look, I eat, sleep, shit, breathe, UPK every day. Get about that Christian church. One West is the only way for righteous leadership and brotherhood. This the only place. A lot of people say they got it, but we know them bitches fake. So I'll be One West to the death, to the end. UPK versus everybody. All we do is win. Undefeated since 69. Pussy, try again. I'll be damned if we ever lose to the likes of them. Commander Junior Honor ain't no coward. You know who he is. Hold on to this truth with no excuse. That's what he did. Showed us how to build a nation every day. We put in brick. Get that all put on her head and take an oath and never quit. And I mean that shit. Every word that I'm saying. If you cross the fucking line, I'ma show you I ain't playing. And I stay war ready. Every word that we hanging. And I still rock my shield of David like I'm gang banging. Bitch, we Harlem, New York, 125th Street. How you mention UPK and didn't mention me? We the home of the truth, bitch, nigga, what you mean? How you mention One West and didn't mention me? No excuses, no cowards, only soldiers roll with me. How you mention UPK and didn't mention me? 144,000 are prepared to serve the king. How you mention One West and didn't mention me?
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, West. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us, he a breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us, he a breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Go ahead. This shit is too easy. I'm on go, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, 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 VG. Leave them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. Mama grind, bitch, and work. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. Them niggas weak, cause they be turching. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. When he cross the line, I'ma back up and I'ma hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas we eat. I'm in this bitch with the itis. Say all y'all do the street. Tell y'all to do the street. When nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the league. He ain't one of us hit the league. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch, I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You soft as cotton, just an actor, Uncle Phil with it. And then my target's on the move, bitch, I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Gullah Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander General is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we tanks. We form up in ranks. We body bag this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit.
I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck and my youngest did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead.
Open BarkBox to discover high-quality toys and treats that make play.
Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, come out 1 West, 125th Street, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians our true identity according to the Bible, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, the Lord's chosen people, and our oppressor, otherwise known as the white man, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. Let me get Exodus 15:3. We're going to be going over the Montgomery situation that happened, as well as natural disasters, seeing as to how the Lord is bringing these different plagues upon this earth to destroy our oppressor, as well as these heathen nations that have taken advantage of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for far too long. So let's start with the Montgomery, Exodus 15:3.
Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
When it says that the Lord is a man of war, like one way I heard this broke down was from Jerome Hyman, and I never even thought of breaking it down like this until I heard him speak on it. But he let everybody know how that spirit, a spirit of war that the Lord has, like the Lord, he's a winner. Like anybody or anything it is that he chooses to go to war against, he's going to defeat them. Like he's going to come out victorious over anything that tries to destroy this truth right here. You understand? And that's the natural thing of any military that decides to go against another force. Like you're not going to go to war just to lose. Like you're going to have in your mind that you're going to win and acquire some increase for your nation, for your people. And that's exactly what them brothers and sisters went through out there in Montgomery, Alabama. Like they decided not to take an L that day when it came to coming against our oppressor and the brutality that he has towards blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They decided to not allow for another brother to be choked to death while they sat by and watched. They refused for another George Floyd to happen, another Eric Garner to happen, another Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man or woman to be murdered at the hands of these animals who will brutalize our people any chance it is that they get. And not giving in to, you know, to that spirit that was most likely telling so many of them that they're going to have to turn back, that they should stop what they're doing and trying to help that brother because they're coming against the Lord's chosen people. They're coming against the God of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, which is our oppressor. And instead of them giving in to that demon and losing spiritually, they decided to overcome all that and fight on to defend their brother, to ensure that he isn't lynched by the hands of a bunch of animals who had nothing to better to do on, what was that, Saturday? Saturday, on a Saturday or Friday, whatever day it was. They had nothing better to do but to unalive one of the Lord's chosen people. And they decided that they wasn't going to allow for that to pass. They decided that for once, for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that they were finally going to win for our people. And what they don't realize is that is the most unimaginable, unthinkable W it is that our people could have ever gotten. Like, besides the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK, like, we didn't think any of our people would ever band together to come against our oppressor or to come against another heathen. But yet, what them brothers and sisters did out there, like that is going to inspire so many other brothers and sisters. That's going to inspire our people to not go and, you know, incite violence against the heathen, but to band together in self-defense of this nation. And that's against all things. It's not just a brother being beat on by a group of devils, but that's against any doctrine that gets pushed into the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian communities. It's against any, you know, philosophy, any spirit that is being pushed on our people and not allowing for it to pass as it has in the past. What them brothers and sisters did that day, it is admirable. And it is glorious in the eyes of the Lord. Drop that, give me 2 Samuel 10 and 12. And so many of our people, like for those of you that are speaking against what them brothers and sisters did, you should truly be ashamed of yourself, because they had the courage to do what you never would have done, which is stand up for another Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. They had the spirit of the Lord on them that day. The spirit of not taking a loss no matter what. A 16-year-old young man jumped off of the boat and swam over to that dock. He was 16 years old, dove off that boat, swam all the way to that dock, lifted himself up, and proceeded to body slam and beat the hell out of any devil that was seeking to harm his brother. And that's something that so many, you know, so many brothers who think they're fit for war would never do. They would never go out of their way for another Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. All they care about is themselves. And I'm sure that the brothers and sisters out there, they got that demon on them at one point when they were starting to get into the mix of it. I'm sure all they thought of is, oh, well, you know, I can't come against these devils. Like, he shouldn't have been saying nothing to them. He should have just let them do their thing. Oh, well, I can't put myself in harm's way. I have a family. I have to eat. What about me? But yet they put all that to the side in order to protect their own and to ensure that that brother got to go home to his family and that he got to see another day, which is a brotherhood that is only heard of in the ISUPK. Go ahead.
You said 1 Samuel 10?
2 Samuel 10 and 12.
2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 12. Be of good courage, and let us slay the men for our people,
And that's exactly what them brothers and sisters did out there that day. Like, they were of good courage. Like, they didn't, sit there and make excuses as to why they couldn't jump in, as to why they didn't, and leaving that brother to be murdered by them animals. They didn't, only think about themselves and their families or their job and how they might get fired for going out there and putting hands on them devils. They didn't think about any of that. But instead, they made sure that they set an example for this nation. Like, they showed, it was young and old, that showed every generation in this nation how we can come together. How it is that we no longer have to let these animals brutalize us as they have been for over 400 years. We no longer have to submit ourselves to these animals and allow for them to do as they please with us while we just sit there and take it. Like the actions that they took on that day, it was absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful to the young. It was beautiful to the middle age, to the old, to brothers and sisters that were on their deathbeds who never thought that our people would ever be able to band together. It was beautiful to everybody in the nation of Israel.
Right.
Go ahead.
And for the cities of our God, and the Lord do that which seemeth him good.
And the Lord did what seemed good to him on that day. Like, the Lord made sure that brother got to see another day. Like, he has an opportunity to come into this truth. And Lord willing, he heard the truth when the brothers went out there on that dock the following weekend to have camp, to raise up this nation, to show the brothers and sisters that had enough courage on that day to stand up for our people, to show them that there is somewhere that they can go where that courage is accepted. You can't go anywhere else in this earth and have the courage that they had on that day and expect for anybody else to lift you up or to big up what it is that you did by defending your own. Like, nobody else will do that. Not the Christian church, not the mosque, not no spiritual leaders, no LGBTQ community. Nobody except for the Isupk will lift up them brothers and sisters, because we understand why it is that they did that. And we understand that that spirit that they have, that's the spirit that Christ wanted on his people, the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead. It's like drop that in 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 64. 1 Maccabees 2 and 64. And that the courage that them brothers and sisters showed, it was just so beautiful. Like, it was, like I said, it was something that is only seen in the Isupk. And all of our people should look at that and understand that we don't have to only think of ourselves. We don't have to look at our own as if, they're an enemy. Right? We can actually look at the brothers and sisters struggling beside us and understand that we can love one another. Like, we can protect one another regardless of if it puts us in harm's way or jeopardizes a little bit of money it is that we would make. Because them brothers and sisters, they understood it that day. And like I said, whether it was young or old, like, they understood the importance of coming to that brother's aid, which is exactly what they did. And I mean, have you seen the video yet?
No, yeah.
Well, you're slacking, Paul. I'm gonna call you up by name too.
Hey, goddamn.
You slacking, Paul. God damn it, you need to go watch that video.
Right.
Like, you need to. If they haven't scrubbed it from the internet yet,
Right.
You need to do all the searches, watch it from the beginning to the end.
Right. Only thing I see is the skits on Facebook.
Yeah.
Throwing up the hat and
Yeah.
like Aquaman come through,
Yeah.
Spider-Man come through.
Yeah, the highlights.
Yeah.
But the biggest highlight that they left out was when all the brothers and sisters came piling off of that boat to come and aid that brother. When they was running down the dock or down the ramp to help that brother out. Like that was a highlight that I haven't seen yet on the internet. I've seen them hitting them with chairs. I seen young brothers swimming over there, getting up and body slamming the devil. And, you know, I seen the devil jumping into the water to flee from the brothers and sisters whooping on him. I seen, you know, what people get entertainment out of. But what I didn't see is how we moved on them as like a unit. Like how we came to that brother as a unit and didn't allow for anything to stop us. Like nothing turned a single brother or sister to the side. None of them turned back. They were just moving forward and getting to that brother. I mean, it was damn near like they was given an order to go to ground and then to take ground. Like that's how they was moving, and it was so beautiful. Like, and that's you know a mentality that more of us need. Because you know, before you know it, it's going to be our Hispanic brothers where there's going to be some incident where a devil is trying to lynch one of them brothers, and the Hispanics are coming together. And then it's going to be where, you know, something's happening to a black or Hispanic, and then all the different tribes are going to come and aid them and to make sure they get back to see their family. It's only a matter of time. You understand? Right now, I don't know how old the video is, but right now, nobody might be aiding, you know, the Hispanics. Like I seen a video where a brother, of course, didn't understand English, didn't understand what a pig was telling him, and the devil was getting upset. You know, he's starting to get more and more aggressive as the video went on, until eventually, you know, he just put his hands on the brother to detain him or to arrest him. So like it, and you got a sister, Judite's sister, come up and telling him to just relax. You don't understand English. She's yelling at him, cops yelling at him, and I think eventually his sister came up speaking Spanish to him, but it didn't do much to ease his mind, to let him know that he wasn't going to be murdered by this police officer. But eventually, like, our people are going to come to the aid of the Hispanic brothers.
Did they kill him?
No, they didn't kill him, but they could have easily, you know, abused him, because nobody was going to help him. Like the Hispanics there just whipped out their phones to record. Recording is cool and all. Like it's good to have evidence. It's great. You can use that in court and all that. You can put it on social media to let it be known how our oppressor brutalizes us and have the support of the civilians of America. That's cool. But what's more important is that you defend your brother. Like General Hyman let it be known when, unfortunately, all them young babies was gunned down in that school. And saying, you know, of course, go be with their families and may they rise again. But he let it be known, you don't give a damn if you got to get arrested, tased, you get shot by the police, you get shot by the shooter, you get in there and you save them babies. And that applies to this entire nation. And you have to risk your life to save a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, and you do so. Because, like, this brotherhood, this nation, that's what matters. You understand? Of course, if you have anything, chime in. So you want to pull from your knowledge of narcos and slip up and what have you.
And flag it if I could. Just like not too long ago, where they are on the border right now as we speak, turning away our brothers and sisters, denying them of water. The baby almost died. A little baby girl almost died because they denied him of water. You know what I'm saying? The state trooper, he's being investigated today. So that's just the type of things that are going on. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, thank God that, you know, the brothers in Texas was out there that passed it.
Right.
And that listen to a clean. Because them brothers and sisters would most likely die out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what, like you said, be willing to make that sacrifice because you never know. Our people need us.
Right. And so just to add on to that, like not to take away from what the brothers and sisters did in Montgomery, but like the brothers and sisters in this school, they made the ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
Like when the brothers in Texas went out there to Kuna, or they went out there to I don't know about El Paso, but definitely for Kuna, like they had to travel through cartel zones. Like zones that the U.S. government had labeled as red zones because of how dangerous they were. Because if you were a vehicle that goes in there, you're liable not to come out. But yet them brothers, and instead of them being cowards and saying, "Oh, well, like Mexicans, they gotta feed themselves. They gotta get themselves, water." Or Haitians, it's like you gotta feed themselves. They gotta get themselves water and clothes. We can't help them. Instead of them saying that and being a coward, like these purple pigs and these false prophets that's out here, they decided to be men. Like they decided to be of good courage and to face the cartels, face the U.S. government. I don't know if they had any interactions with the Mexican government, but I'm sure the U.S. was trying to get them to do something about it. But like they faced all of that and overcame it and helped blacks and Hispanics that day, and they continue to do so. Like the works it is that's being done in this organization in the school, it's damn near out of a movie. Like especially when you come in here and you start doing the work, like all you can think to yourself is, like this life I have, I never would have expected to be living it. Like this is straight up out of an action movie, out of underdog story kind of thing, like movie. Like it's just something hard to comprehend if you're just coming in or if you're in the world. You can't comprehend this lifestyle.
Right. You still got to be thinking like that. When I think about it, it's slavery. Brothers just want me to be against another brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? Because he older and he can't do the work.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's it?
Yeah. Like, you really hate this brother.
Yeah.
You hate this brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's old. You fucking 20-some years old. You're 20-some years old. You hating on an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he got restrictions at work. You can't do this. You can't do that. Because, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that was a great idea.
Right.
I can come up in there with all kinds of restrictions. You know what I'm saying?
Go to the doctor.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, I'm like, goddamn, you mad at this brother? He's old. You mad at this brother, man? Because he don't have to do what you gotta do when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, and he was like, man, hey, you know why you gotta do all that? Because that brother got the restrictions. And my mind, that motivated me. I'm thinking, hey, I take a load for my brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It is. Motivating me. Just hearing this, you know, maybe come back with something tomorrow. Think about wearing my UPK shirt. Think about wearing my pants.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's good, man. It is like, yeah, we need to stand up for this time.
Right.
I seen somebody who dropped his load. I said, you know what? The hell is this job? I'm gonna go help this brother. I'm gonna go down for this brother. I'm gonna go help this brother. That's more important. So, you know what I'm saying? They ask me, hey, what are you doing? Why are you slowing down? Because I'm helping my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else drove by.
Right.
Just looking. So let me help you. You know what I'm saying? And that spirit of my humble is really traveling. But it's really the spirit of the Lord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The spots are divided, and the nations are rising against nations. So it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So definitely going to take advantage of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Utilize it. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's like we have magazines or
Yes. First Maccabees 2 and 64.
Wherefore, ye, my sons, be vigilant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
And of course, these brothers and sisters, they weren't in the truth, by any means. But one thing they did by keeping the laws of God is fulfilling the acts of brotherhood it is that is required of us as a nation. It's in our laws, as a people, to be brotherly towards one another. And when they saw how that brother would be impressed by them devils, instead of them only worrying about themselves and what it is that they had going on, they dropped everything to go and stand by his side. Dropped everything to risk their lives in order to ensure that his can continue on. And of course, that's the spirit that the UBK has been putting into the earth since 1969. And we've been showing our brothers and sisters how it is that we must treat one another. And in treating one another a certain kind of way, that's protecting one another, standing with one another. That's why, when Officer Kwame had brought out about the mission to Acuna, the food and clothing drive, as well as baby supply giveaway we did in El Paso, that's so important, because the Mexicans don't look like the brothers that was out there. They wasn't the same color. They didn't speak the same language, but yet them brothers understood who their people were, and they understood what needed to be done in order to aid their people. Regardless of how they looked, what language they spoke, they understood that the black struggle is the Hispanic struggle. The Hispanic struggle is the Native Indian struggle, so on and so forth. However it is you want to reword that. Our struggle is the same, and instead of us putting a difference between each tribe just because of how they look, we understand that, and we decide to band together. That's how this organization has been so powerful since 1969, is that we were able to lean on our brothers regardless of what they call themselves. Through all the hardships, through all the adversities, we're able to come together and overcome whatever comes against us. Just like those brothers and sisters did out there in Alabama. You had a mob of devils coming against them, they overcame. There was police officers trying to come against them, really they overcame. Well, if you didn't watch the footage, you don't know what I'm talking about. But when the police got there, the police looked like they didn't have any idea what to do. They had no idea of the crowd control. They didn't know who to really arrest. All they knew was they had to target black people. But even when they got their hands on some of them, they let them go to go mess with another black person. They have no idea what it is to do. And even when everything was settled, and they tried arresting brothers and sisters that was defending their nation as well as themselves, they ended up cutting them all loose and arrested all the devils. That's the power of coming together. And of course, because so many of us are Christian, we don't understand that, because we've been taught to separate from our own by the Christian church, by these spiritual leaders.
Right. The hug our murderer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
To comb the murderer's hair, to send up prayers for him, to come off the stand and give him a Bible.
And you see the difference. That brother lived that day.
Yeah.
Them brothers lived that day.
Right.
The hell with all that.
Shows you the benefits of not being a coward.
That's right.
Man, it's like
damn right, sir. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Good, sir. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because, man, just thinking about how blacks, Hispanics, they really view each other. We damn near might as well be in prison after slavery because they hate each other. I know you know. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how they see like themselves different. You know what I'm saying? After slavery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's really hate each other. It's crazy to hate each other. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's me just because, you know, I grew around them. And, like I said, I'm at slavery right now. You know, speaking to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like once you know their language, they'll mess with you more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they really thought we was different.
Right.
Like, nah. I mean, I'm all day at work. I'm like, hey, sack a lot. Hey, sack a lot. Tell her, hey, bust out the beers. Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't know how to make it. Get the hell up out of here.
Right.
all day, that's what I'm saying. And they agree with me. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I say they work hard, but at the end of the day, they do not want to be there.
They do not want to be there. That's the thing. Like, we see each other as different. We really the same people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they used to not think they was niggas.
Right.
Now it's being shown all over the world. Y'all are the same.
Right.
Y'all getting done just like the rest of the Gadites.
Right.
And niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And like that's why the Isupk is so important, because we show our people that we're the same.
Right.
Like we can bring out how our condition is the same, our spirit is the same. Like you said, when you learn the language, like they understood.
Right.
You the same.
Right.
Like, you both niggas.
Right.
Like, they understood that, and it's something that we understood, you know, in the past, before there was such a divide put between Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
Like, you know, in the past, you know, for instance, like Blacks and Natives would flee into Mexico.
Right.
In return, Mexico would go to war with anybody that tried to come in there and take the Blacks and Natives that were fleeing to them.
Right.
Like, you know, we used to fight for one another,
Right.
until our oppressor came in and divided us. You know, put you know, colorism out there, and you know, tried teaching us whatever lies about our history, pitting us against one another in the drug trade, gangs, you know, whatever the hell they could use to cause for us to hate one another. They did so, and that caused for us not to look at one another as if we're the same, as if we're not brothers. Which, you know, of course, shoot, I already know, you know, just from your slave, like the brothers and the slave, will not mess with the Mexicans. Mexicans will not mess with the Judites. Right. And, you know.
Right. I tell you who they do mess with. The goddamn oppressor.
Yeah.
No matter what he did.
I should have known that.
Hey,
I'm over here thinking you're gonna tell me some groundbreaking news.
Right. They will mess with their oppressor no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we can't. Like, it's crazy what's going on. I've been there like 2-3 weeks. They hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm messing with them. You know what I'm saying? My brother.
Right.
Hey, how you let them know you know Spanish?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn what they talking about me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, I don't give a damn what y'all talking about me.
Right.
Still my brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy because you can even bring up the comparisons of how we're the same. Right. You can bring up our history, the condition it is that we're living in today, and they'll even tell you, you're right, you got a point.
Right.
But
we
don't fuck with Mexicans.
Right. They don't even mess with each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Because it's Jacob, my slave.
Right.
You know, he don't like Mexicans.
Right.
You know, he asked me why I talked to him, saying, "Oh, we ain't the same. They hate us." And of course, bring out how we're the same, how we're in the same condition. We lived under the same curses since our oppressor came over here and conquered these lands. And he said, "Oh, you're right, but they Mexican." And then you try to bring up how it is that black people treat each other better, and he'll let you know, I don't even mess with other niggas.
Right.
I say I stick to myself.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's married to a devil.
Right. He pro-black. Look at
that. Right. Hey, he tries to come off like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, your love goes to our oppressor.
Right.
Because you won't even band together with your own. You said it yourself. You supposedly stick to yourself. Meanwhile, and supposedly doesn't like devils. Meanwhile, you're married to them. Like it's
It don't work out. It don't
right.
You're not taking that.
Right.
It don't add up.
Right.
The math is not mathing
At all.
You know what I'm saying?
And we be so delusioned to think that like the stuff like that we say, like, oh well, I don't mess with the oppressor, but I'm married to one. We think that holds like some kind of weight. Like, oh well, he said he don't mess with him, so he's just getting some get back for the ancestors or something, some BS. When in reality, you her slave.
Right.
You aren't of good courage.
Right.
You have anything else you want to say?
Right.
Let me get. Drop something, come on.
It was crazy how the brother brought out how I celebrate Thanksgiving though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? We don't love each other, man. That's crazy to see that, you know what I'm saying? Because after all this time and suffering, we go through the same thing, but we still have this much hatred towards each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why, those that join in hands, go in hand with the oppressor, you will be put to death with the oppressor. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Now ain't no time to be playing around. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is bringing war to this place. Brothers are going to realize. And that's when it's going to be too late for you to love your brother. You know what I'm saying? Because all this time that we've been suffering, and where was your love at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where was you at when brothers, our brothers and sisters suffering on the border?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Dying every goddamn day. You understand? You might as well kill him since you nature, brother. Like the scripture said, like you might as well kill him since you nature, brother. You know what I'm saying? It's the same as killing him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Since you hate your brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just crazy, like, just to see that, that wickedness towards your own brother. You know what I'm saying? It's just weakness, weak.
Right.
You definitely can't be a part of the Isupk like that.
And so if I could just add, just to take it off of, Hispanics.
Right.
Like when the Haitians came over here looking for aid, looking to just be able to survive, you didn't see no black people out there helping them. No black people was marching or protesting or speaking out when the Haitians was being whipped.
Where the Black Lives Matter?
Right. Being forced back into the water.
Right.
Where was who was that, the NAACP who speaks up for black people? Where were they at?
Right.
Like these is brothers and sisters who look just like you, who suffer just like you, coming over here seeking aid.
Right.
But yeah, you don't want to stand up for them.
I bet you if I could. Mm-hmm. If it was Hamites,
right?
They'd be up there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All lives matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it was Hamites,
right?
You'd be marching and protesting. We all the same. You was ready to go fight wars in Ukraine for them goddamn. You was ready to go fight for Ukraine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You had rappers talking about, I would go to war.
Damn, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, they were talking about
I forgot that they were talking about going to a Nazi country. That's where they wanted to go.
Right.
Go and fight for a bunch of Nazis.
They would go to the border right there.
Right up the street.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Especially if you're in Texas.
Right.
Especially if you're in Kentucky or Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Right there.
I'm saying, who was at the NFAC? That was in Louisville or Kentucky?
Man, they are nowhere to be found.
Where was they at with their arms and everything?
Nowhere to be found.
These radical, brand new black revolutionaries.
Right.
Where was the new Black Panther Party at?
Right.
Where was the Nation of Islam?
Right.
All these people who supposedly care about so-called blacks. Meanwhile, you're not even there to help the people you claim to care about. The same people that are giving you all their money, putting their hopes into your disgusting organization, thinking that you're going to save them when they need you. Meanwhile, you turn your back on them. But the only ones that didn't, who was it, Quan? You goddamn right. And that's the spirit of Christ right there, is to not turn your back on your own, to face any adversity, any enemy, overcome them to help your people. You understand? Like that's the spirit of the Lord. That's the spirit of a winner right there. And we've been undefeated since 1969.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's not good, man. They setting up the standards. Goddamn tragic event, you gotta be there the next goddamn day or week.
Right.
That same week, like the thing with the Boston Massacre. Captain, how do you say, Captain Azania?
Azania.
Brother in, what is it?
Azania.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
With that Boston Massacre, talking to the family, comforting them. Hey, that's UPK now. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that happen over here. Be there.
Yo, what I didn't know was I want to say it was Katrina. Like how we were just talking about Katrina before class. I believe Commander Johanna said Captain Kahan went out there with brothers and helped gather the blacks and Hispanics that was stranded out there. Got a boat, got them to safety and everything.
It's funny you said that because I was just thinking, I was just in my mind.
You know we was out there somewhere.
Hey, you know, I was just a little damn 10 years old. You know what I'm saying?
We was out there somewhere. You know that much.
Right.
I would say you of course you wouldn't have heard about it because our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Like I don't like it wasn't even mainstream. I don't think about when the brothers went out to Acuna, giving supplies to the Haitians and to the Mexicans.
I know we on the news there.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it didn't like blow up how it should have.
Not the Isupk.
Like it was minor in the eyes of America because we were helping the slaves of America. We were helping the slaves of the French and the British and the Spanish and of the Portuguese and the Dutch. We were helping their slaves, so it's not of any importance. But the spirit that Commander Johanna has put on these men, like you said, it set the standard. It's shown everybody how they should conduct themselves. And if you're not willing to conduct yourself in a one West manner, then you shouldn't even try to step on the stage.
Right.
Just like the NFAC, Black Lives Matter, Nation of Islam, all these groups out here. All of you have failed black people and Hispanic people. Just leave the job to the ISUPK. All the resources you have, give them to the ISUPK. We'll make sure that they properly get distributed. We'll make sure that the people that need relief are able to get it. Hell, even the conscious community wasn't saying nothing when the Haitians was getting beat on the border and turned away. They're supposed to be the champion of black people. Anyone with melanin, they're supposed to be the champions. But yeah, I ain't hear nothing from them. They was goddamn silent.
They only all talk just to get your money.
Right.
And just to be popular, be known. But when it comes to do, that's why the scripture said, man, when it say without words, that shit, that's like that, it's dead. You know what I'm saying? Because these niggas don't have no words.
Right.
At all. You know what I'm saying? You can Google the stats. You know what I'm saying? You can Google what the ISUPK have done.
Right.
We cannot Google what you have done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can check YouTube, Facebook. That's why it's so important to get this footage out. Because you can see it. You on that phone and internet all day. Google ISUPK. That's all you gotta do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't hard to find. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never heard it.
Right. Literally.
You know what I'm saying? You goddamn Trinidad, Jamaica, goddamn Haiti, to UK, to Puerto Rico, to goddamn Dominican Republic, to Brazil, to Mexico.
See, I think there's some people reporting somewhere in Europe,
Alaska,
Canada,
Hey,
everywhere.
It's the Lord's army. This can't be stopped.
I said there's no excuse not to be in here.
Right.
Like if you care about blacks and Hispanics like you claim to do, then you should be in the ISUPK.
Right.
If you care enough like the brothers and sisters in Montgomery did, then you should be in the ISUPK. Like, this is the place for you. Everywhere else is just going to destroy that spirit in you, that spirit of the Lord. Go ahead. Actually, let me get Jeremiah 2:14 so since we're getting closer to the time.
14.
2:14. Jeremiah 2:14. I'm saying, and if you love the spirit that them brothers and sisters had out there, then of course this should definitely be the place that you seek out. You know, I seen videos of a brother on Facebook saying how basically like seeing what happened in Montgomery, like he feels like black people are destined for something greater. And he feels like we should all come together. We should all be able to come together and come against this oppressor, and nothing will be able to overcome us. You know, in his mind, we got the juice, so why not keep rolling with it? You know, which, of course, you know, is a beautiful thing that our people are starting to think like that. But we gotta remember to put our faith in the Lord for delivering us up out of here. Like, you know, we can come together all we want, get all the arms together that we want, but the Lord isn't with us, it's going to fail. I mean, in FAC, you don't hear nothing about them anymore. They had all the guns. They gave all the guns into the hands of the women to empower them. You know, the men, they was all toting guns and getting high, having a good time. Yeah, dressing all black, shooting each other, being militant. You know, marching, doing all that, but yet they're not here today. I ain't heard nothing from them since Breonna Taylor. And that was years ago. So it's like, where are you at now? And that's for any organization. Black Panther Party, they had to make a new Black Panther Party because when the old one fell apart, they had guns, they had community building skills. You know, they was had different programs to help out brothers and sisters that have been through trauma, different programs to help the youth understand how they're to conduct themselves. They had all that. Yet then, where they at now? All that was for nothing. But the work it is that we're doing in here, like this is how you start raising up a nation from the ground up. And it's something that Commander Juliana has kept since 1969. You have anything you want to add? You have anything you want to add? Okay. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant?
Yeah, it's saying like it's like this brother was asking the Lord if Israel is a servant. I sent you the definitions of servant. Read that highlighted one, book, show. It's saying because this really is how the religious leaders, how the purple pigs really want for us to be as a people. Like they would much rather that we conduct ourselves in this kind of way because it makes their job easier. Like they don't have to suffer any backlash from our oppressor because they're not keeping us in check. But they would much rather we be like this. You couldn't read that definition?
A person who performs duties for others.
Read the last definition.
A devoted and helpful follower or support.
And that's exactly how they would much rather we be. They'd much rather we be a follower of our oppressor and lending our aid to him in any kind of form, even if it's leaving one of our people unalive. Like them purple pigs and these leaders, Like they would have much rather that they the brothers and sisters in Montgomery, they would have much rather that they, just allowed for whatever to happen. Like they would much rather that our people condemn the brothers and sisters that stood against them animals and support them devils, because of course they were being pestered by a nigga who was just out of place. When in reality, like what them brothers and sisters did, that's what free men and women do. Go ahead.
Yo, is he a homeborn slave?
So like, are our people only here? Like, were we only born to fill the role of slaves, to serve other nations, especially our oppressor? Like, is that the only reason we're here? Because I don't know about you, Kwame, but until I found the truth, that's all it seemed like. Right. Is that we're only here to do the bidding of our master, which is our oppressor. Whether you're doing it voluntarily or not, you're out there getting high and selling drugs. You're doing the bidding of your master. Right. You're gunning down brothers or stealing, pouring out sisters. You're committing abortions, doing all these things that are abominable in the eyes of the Lord. Like, that's doing the bidding of our oppressor, because that's exactly what he wants. I mean, you don't even need to be, so-called conscious to know that our oppressor wants for us to do all these destructive things in our communities, these destructive things to our families. Right. You don't need to be conscious in order to understand that, but yet we still do it as a people. Like, is there no way that we can have any kind of freedom as a nation? And when I first came into the truth, or it's like right before I came into the truth, I was watching classes online before I made the call to come in, and I was getting high with someone I thought was my brother in the world, but of course you come into the school, you really find out who's there for you. Right. I was getting high with him, telling them how it is that, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are destined to rule the earth. Right. And how the Lord is going to come to bring down America and bring down all the nations that have oppressed our people. And because we've been raised in such a slave mentality, which I know it's not just this brother that thought like that. I know it's, a majority of Israel. But in his mind, he had said, shoot, our oppressor is always going to rule. Like, it doesn't matter if it's America or Russia, Britain or France. Like, they're just too powerful to be overcome. So there's no way it is that anybody can come in and overthrow them. And in his mind, if anyone did, it'd have to be a larger nation in the earth. Like, there's no way the Lord would ever come to overthrow these people, would ever come to destroy the military, this great military that so many people have come to love and to worship as like a god of destruction. There's no way anything outside of this world could ever bring it down. There's no way that anything would ever want to destroy this, democratic nation. Right. Like, this is the freest nation on the earth. Why would anybody want to destroy it? Like, you can get anything you want here. Right. You can get drugs, any kind of food, water. You're not suffering like in Africa or India, right, or somewhere in any of them goddamn countries across the ocean. Right. You're not suffering like that. Like you live a lavish life in comparison to most people out there.
Right. I guess the ones that are homeless right down on Keystone to be, I guess, how you say, glad or what's the word for it? To be, how you say, be thankful for this being homeless in America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we are suffering out here. You know what I'm saying? This is supposed to be the greatest land on the face of the earth.
Right.
But Black, Hispanics, and Indians are dying and suffering in this place, man. And on the reservation.
Right.
And on the border, man. You know what I'm saying?
So I just want to add real quick. It's like, I was going to add, like, people want to make mention of this being the greatest place, but you ignore the poverty that's in this place.
Right.
This is the richest country, but yet all but a handful of Blacks and Hispanics are in poverty.
Right.
This is the greatest place, but yet there's a good bit of Blacks and Hispanics that are homeless. Oppressors as well. Like all them oppressors that come out of the military and don't have anything like set up for themselves for when they come out, they're homeless. They're out there tweaking, getting high on opioids. Like, but yet this is the greatest country. You know, there's a opioid epidemic going on. It's been going on for damn near what, 10 years, 12 years now. Like a bunch of junkies running around. And before that, there was the crack epidemic. And then the cocaine and the heroin.
Mm-hmm. It's just like there cannot be no rich or wealthy if there's not no poor.
Right.
Or oppressed.
Right.
It's impossible.
Right.
Everybody gonna be rich.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna work like that. It ain't gonna work like that in the kingdom.
Right. and you've never been a nation on this earth like that.
Hey, right. Lock it. You know what I'm saying?
You think America's gonna be the first?
Right.
You better go step out your front door.
Right.
You better look at yourself in the mirror so you can see that you're one of the poor.
Right.
You can see that you're a bill away from being kicked out of your house.
Right.
What was you gonna say?
Not saying it can't be. It just they had the chance to do it.
Right.
Don't expect us to do it when we get bullshit now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a lot. It can't be like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's a lot. I'm blaming on me either. I'm blaming on us. Blaming on the Lord. Because he is a man of war.
Right.
That's all I can say.
And he's gonna have the side win that he wants to win.
Right.
It's like you drop that. Give me First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 19.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get into some of these natural disaster joints, but running out of time.
You said First Maccabees?
Yeah, 3 and 19.
Yeah.
That's it. This is going into natural disasters, but it can also really be applied. What happened in Montgomery? I was reading that at the slave, and you know, it damn near blew my mind reading the scripture. You know, just because you'll see. Go ahead.
Yeah. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 19. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of the host, but strength cometh from heaven. Verse 20.
And of course, what happened in Montgomery, like it's not because we had more numbers or anything like that. We've had, we've outnumbered our oppressor, 100 to 1 before, and yet they've overcome us by, an embarrassing amount, caused for us to flee in every direction. Like that victory that we got on that day, like that was from the Lord. That was the Lord giving, the power to them brothers and sisters to be able to overcome their enemies. And it goes into natural disasters because, of course, heathens rely on numbers when it comes to anything it is that they do. Like, for instance, for putting out the fires in Canada, Hawaii, well, they need numbers to do that. If they're low on numbers, they're gonna go to prisons, get brothers out of there, and have them put out the fires. They're gonna have volunteers come in, put out fires. Like in their mind, if they throw enough numbers into something, then they'll be able to just overcome it. Like they can brute force their way through it, which they've done in their minds, they can do it in any war as well. Like in World War I, World War II, like they had millions of men at their disposal. Like for instance, the Germans. Huh? What do you mean?
Niggas. But they had like oh, you, I don't know if you just talking about the Germans. I'm talking about how Americans use everything.
Anybody, but I was using the Germans for an example right there.
They use robots now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They use anything.
Right. But yeah, in their minds, like as long as they can throw enough numbers or something, they can overcome it.
Right.
But when the Lord is with us, we're able to overcome anything.
Right.
We defeated the armies of Egypt.
Right.
Without having to even lift a hand.
Right.
The Philistines.
Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So on. America's next.
Right.
Simple as that.
Like we don't have to do nothing. The Lord does all of that. Go ahead.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's like good. Like yeah, like people don't know, like the Lord caused that stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And my woman. You know what I'm saying? That was not of them. You know what I'm saying? Because any other day, any given day, they would probably watch their brother, you know what I'm saying, get attacked or whatever. You see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? But that was of the Lord because his prophecy must be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Like nations shall rise against nations. There will be a race war. And now is the time because now you got rumors of war. And then nations shall rise against nations, kingdom against kingdom. Like this stuff, and they said it, this stuff must come to pass. This is all of the Lord.
Right.
It's going to get worse and real bad out here, man. You know what I'm saying? And the safest place to be is in the Isupk, under command of the Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know what's going to happen. We are prepared for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't want this to happen because you still doing wicked. You know what I'm saying? If you want America to last forever. Me and my brother, we want rulership. We want the kingdom. We want what the Lord promised us.
Right.
That was the
Go ahead.
Verse 20. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us.
And that's exactly how the oppressors came against that brother.
Right.
Like, they came at him with pride. Like in their minds, how could a nigga ever come to them and tell them they need to move their boat? Like in their minds, they should be able to do whatever it is that they please, regardless of who it might inconvenience or who it might harm. And that's been the spirit on these devils for hundreds of years. Because in their minds, they're the ones that rule this earth. Like their forefathers enslaved the Lord's chosen people, so why should they not be able to treat you any kind of way? Well, why shouldn't they be able to do as they please, regardless of who it might destroy? And that's the pride that gets passed down to these devils. Don't think just because different philosophies are being put out there into the earth that all of a sudden Americans are going to change. All of a sudden the British are going to change, or the French, or any of these heathens, that all of a sudden they're going to be all loving and accepting. Because with their rich history that Blacks and Hispanics love so much, that gives them a sense of pride because they have something that you don't, which is an identity. Like they understand who their people are. They understand what they had to go through, who they've overcame, and all that. Meanwhile, you're just a slave. And you've been the slave of America, of France, and the Spanish, and Portuguese, and every goddamn nation. You've been the servant, the homeborn slave. Go ahead.
And our wives and children, and to spoil us.
And that's what they wish that they would have been able to do that day. Like there was brothers and sisters out there, and there was young men. A brother that was 16 years old that took it upon himself to go into battle to defend his own, to defend his brother that needed his help. And they would have much rather that every single brother and sister out there perish that day. They would have much rather that all that Jason Aldean, Small Town, the song, I believe it was Jason Aldean, but whoever sang Small Town, they would have much rather that everything he sang about had came to pass. That they would have been able to do all that to them brothers and sisters out there. But what they didn't understand is that the Spirit of the Lord was on them.
Right.
And when it's like, and when the Spirit of the Lord is on our people, there's no way any nation could ever overcome us. Go ahead.
Verse 21. But we fight for our lives and our laws.
And that's exactly what them brothers and sisters, were doing out there. Like they was fighting for their lives, for the lives of their brothers and of their sisters, to ensure that they got to see another day. You understand? And, with them not being in the truth, I guess you could say they're not fighting for the laws, but the reason that spirit is on them today is because of the work the Isupk has been doing since 1969. And we have been fighting for our brothers and for our laws for over 50 years to ensure that the spirit that's put on them brothers and sisters can spread to the entire nation that is scattered to the four corners of this earth. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them.
And that's the exact spirit that they had. Like they had no fear of the oppressor that day. Like there was something working in them that they didn't quite understand, but yet they allowed for it to guide them and show them what they're supposed to do, which was to fight for their brother. Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Drop that. I'm going to save the disasters for next week. All right, with that, I'm going to pass class over. Precinct Officer 500, go on my car.
Isupk security announcements. We are the Isupk, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. God, which is the commandment. Numbers 18-21. Malachi 3:8-10. They sent to Hebrew, Ma'aseh. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offer for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. You got a feast day September 15. Make sure you be there. And if you can't, bring the dish. If not, just bring brotherhood. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, start with that or module, which means to rise. The Congo Hafadam means turn to face the east. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Yabanawa. Sabashamaya. Kadash. Ayah. Sumka. Yahweh. Lakaka. Naba'ah. Asazayaka. Ayah. Aisha. Maratazah. Hawa. Ayah. Ashamaya. Nathud. Kanawa. Come. Yawam. Asalakanawa. Nawakinawa. Asalakanawa. Nawakinawa. Wala'ah. Abiyanawa. Manasai 1. Bo.
Whoa.
I'm sorry now.
I was shy now.
Ayan.
Ayan.
Right.
Right.
Ayan.
Ayan.
Maka.
Maka.
Malako.
Malako.
Wala Allah.
Wala Allah.
Wala Quran.
With part.
Alayam.
Alayam.
Aman.
Aman.
In the English. Our Father.
Our Father.
Which art in heaven.
Which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
And will be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
And give us our debts.
Give us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not into temptation.
Lead us not into temptation.
Deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Blessings in the evening. Barak atah Yahweh.
Barak atah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wan Yaka Allah.
Wam Yaka Allah.
Wa Lahayim.
Wa Lahayim.
Matazabya.
Matazabya.
Alawat Yahan.
Alawat Yahan.
Halawatiyim.
Alawat Yahan.
Hazarayim.
Hazarayim.
Hakwazayayim.
Akwazayim.
Hakwayayim.
Akwayayim.
Hakwati.
Kwati.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ma'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Ma'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Ubar
Waraman.
in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commander Junior Yahan.
Commanding General Yahan.
Generals.
Generals.
Captains.
Captains.
The officers.
The officers.
Troopers.
Troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
So, which means the time. First salute to the teacher. In the visit of Mount Shabbat, Majum, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
And Matah. First salute to the sister watching the lawn. In the visit of Mount Shabbat, Majum, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's Matah. Class dismissed.